The dog lungy teeth bared, eyes locked just inches from the elderly man's face. But in a moment that defied every command, it stopped. It didn't bite. Officers shouted, chaos erupted, and the man, shaken, bruised, and confused, lay on the ground with a baton mark across his back. Cameras were rolling. Bystanders were screaming. He was a war veteran, and yet, in that moment, no one saw him as human. What made the dog hesitate when its handler didn't? This is the story the headlines missed. Comment your city if you're watching. It was a quiet Sunday morning in a peaceful neighborhood park. Thomas Rayford, a 72-year-old retired Army veteran, followed his daily routine, feeding birds, sipping coffee from a thermos, and sitting alone on the same bench he'd claimed for years. With silver hair, steady eyes, and a calm presence, Thomas was known and respected in the community. Though many had forgotten the medals and scars he carried from wars fought overseas, the park was his sanctuary, far from headlines, far from noise. But as he leaned forward to toss breadcrumbs on the grass, the sound of heavy boots and barking shattered the stillness. 4 officers appeared in the distance, moving fast. A canine strained against its leash. Thomas sat still, unaware that a moment he didn't provoke was about to unfold, and it would test not only his body, but the soul of the community watching. Thomas looked up just as the officers closed in, their uniforms crisp, their eyes unreadable. One of them pointed. "That's him," he said. Confused, Thomas instinctively placed a hand on his chest. Him. The dog was already lunging, restrained only by its handler's grip on the leash. No one asked his name. No one explained to them. He wasn't a veteran. He wasn't a neighbor. He was a target. "Get on the ground," barked one officer. Thomas didn't move, partly because he didn't understand, partly because his knees wouldn't let him. In that instant, a command was shouted, sharp and cold. "Take him." The dog was released. Time slowed. Thomas raised his hands, his voice trembling. "I haven't done anything." But the canine was already in the air, jaws wide, eyes locked. People in the park began to scream. A mother pulled her child away. A jogger paused, phone raised. But then something happened. The dog landed, inches from Thomas, but didn't bite. It stood still, growling low, confused. It looked back at the officer, then at Thomas again. The handler shouted more commands. The dog didn't move. One of the officers cursed under his breath. Thomas, still frozen, stared into the animal's eyes. He'd faced war. He'd stared down worse. But this was home. And home wasn't supposed to feel like a battlefield. Something had gone wrong in their plan. And the worst part, they still weren't done. One officer stormed forward, yanked the dog's collar, and shoved it aside. "He's resisting," he shouted, though Thomas hadn't moved. Before he could speak, a baton slammed into his shoulder, knocking him off the bench. Grass scraped his palms. Bones rattled from the impact. His thermos rolled away, spilling cold coffee onto the earth. He groaned, struggling to breathe, one hand raised in surrender. Phones were out now, recording. Bystanders shouted he didn't do anything, but the officers circled, backs turned to the crowd. One reached for cuffs, another barked orders to silence the scene. Thomas's face pressed to the dirt of the land he once fought for. And in that crushing, breathless moment, humiliation, pain, and betrayal fused into a silent cry. "Is this what my service meant?" The footage went viral within hours. Thomas was taken to the hospital, bruised, but alive. Public outcry erupted, marches, petitions, headlines demanding justice. The officers were placed on administrative leave, but no charges followed. Thomas, once silent, became a voice speaking out in community forums, schools, and rallies. Yet the pain lingered. Not just from the blows but from the betrayal. He had fought for a country that still couldn't see his humanity in a park bench moment. His story became a spark, but change remained slow, hesitant, and across the nation, other benches, other parks, and other names repeated the cycle. How many more Thomases must be broken before being believed? Thanks for watching. Share this video to keep the conversation alive. And subscribe for more untold truths the world needs to hear.